This video shows the implementation of a temporary permission for SQL logins and users. I believe I started working on it in 2014 while working for First Data in Bratislava. I don't remember exactly if it lasted since it was in work in progress, but this is another perfect example of why I started in 2014 to 2015 to work at DIMS. This solution had a front end by the mean of that Excel file and a back end by the tables and stored procedure and the SQL Server agent job. We would have shared the Excel file containing some macro to the user, and they would have requested the login and permissions, and we would have used the generated command to provide those temporary rights and keep a track of it. The problem with this implementation was that there were many moving parts and Excel files with enabled macros sent via Outlook clients, even internally, was not the norm. During that time, I always saw this project being implemented as a graphical user interface accessible either via RDP on a server or via a published application via Citrix. User launching the application would have seen what was available in the Excel, but displayed using forms or WPF interfaces, and once all data would have been filled in the Submit or OK button will register that request in the table we would have in the back end. This table might have another column storing the approval status of that user creation. When that column would have been approved, then the stored procedure would have been triggered and temporary login created. The application would provide the user also information about the requests its team have submitted and other type of information from the backend server. The graphical user interface I am writing since then was an attempt to give SQL DBA teams the entire life cycle of operations they are supposed to perform by taking out of equation the need of an IIS server providing the front end, the creation of some APIs, or having any other team in between. Everything belonging to the solution would have been entirely tested, managed, troubleshoot, and delivered by the SQL team members. This would have decreased the time from the developing time to the test time, since no other teams would have been needed for deployment and testing. This continues to be the reason for which I believe an in-house C# developed application is very beneficial for teams in general. If I remember right, I believe this was based on the Kendra Little post during that period showing how they deal with temporary permissions for developers.